Damas y caballeros, no, ladies and gentlemen, I want to try to do this stream in English. So here we are at the ThoMario Tierlist 2023 stream, which is about all the movies I watched, series, anime, and games I played this year. This year, something unbelievable happened. I watched more movies than played games and watched anime combined, which actually is fair because movies are way easier to watch, but to be honest, I don't like to consider myself a cinephile. Anyways, let's start. I organized it in order. First the movies, then the series and anime, and lastly the best for last, the games. Now let's start with the first movie I watched this year, which would be Pinocchio from Guillermo del Toro. This one was an excellent movie in my opinion. I would say almost a masterpiece, but not totally a masterpiece, to be honest. I think it's on par with the Puss in Boots movie, which I watched. Well, Puss in Boots was the last movie I watched last year, and Pinocchio was the first one I watched this year. And like, what one, like, how do I put it? What one lacks, the other one has. Also, I watched this movie with my mom, and I don't know, it was nice. It's pretty nice to watch with the family. It has some comedy, but I don't know what else to say. Now, the next movie, Avatar 2. I honestly didn't like it that much. I think I remember watching Avatar 1 when it came out, but I was too little, I don't have an actual opinion on it. But Avatar 2 is a movie that exists. I can't hate it, but I cannot love it. My mom does love it, and we went to see it with 3D effects, which we didn't do in years, and that was the coolest part of the movie, even if the 3D wasn't the best 3D ever. Now next on Netflix with the family, we watch a movie about terror. I think it's Beyond Good. This is the I don't think it was called The Strangers in English. Most of these movies I watched with the Latin American dub, because even though I like watching videos in English, playing games in English, and making videos in English as I'm doing right now, I don't like English dub in most products. I like English text, but not English voice acting, not that much. So most of the movies are for the Latin Spanish versions. And this one was a mystery thriller which had an super intense mystery. Now, I'm ranking it one above. I still wouldn't say it is a masterpiece. The thing with this movie is not complete, but that's kinda the point of it. Like, if it was completed, like, it ends on a cliffhanger, but without that cliffhanger, most of the mystery and tension of that movie would like be torn apart. Anyways, pretty great. And now this is the first movie I watched with my father, which would be Fences, which is about an old man on the, I think the decade of 1950s, and it is a wholesome movie. It's about a black dad which racial conflicts was important with the movie because he kinda resents white men, and he has some trouble with his son and his wife, but he's not a bad person. He made a big mistake right at the end of the movie, but in the end, the protagonist is not a bad person. It's a really wholesome movie, to be honest. Even if the dad can be a bit angry, which, to be honest, most fathers on that age were. Now, I think most were waiting for this. The Marvel movie, most specifically the Spider-Man one. I underwent to a Spider-Man marathon last year because, please don't hate me, but I think I didn't watch any Spider-Man movie before last year, and that was a mistake. Like, well, I saw Far From Home and No Way Home, but that was more because of a fad. No, but that had to change. I got to culturize me about not only Tom Holland's movies of the MCU, but the actual Spider-Man everyone loved. And actually, after watching No Way Home, I kinda wanted to know Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield better, and so I did. Starting with the first Spider-Man from Sam Raimi, I think it's decent. It's above decent. It's good. It's good, not amazing. It serves as a fine introduction. I don't think it's that special, but also I don't think it's that bad. Now, Spider-Man 2, it was a pretty heavy upgrade from 1. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece as well, but here Tobey Maguire has to go under a much harsh life, dealing with his double life and his actual life as Peter Parker. It feels a lot more special than the first one. But now, the one that I really like is the controversial one, Spider-Man 3. It is a flawed movie, I can get that, but I don't care. This movie, when it hits hard, it hits harder than Spider-Man 2 in my opinion. And afterwards, the Amazing Spider-Man movies, A New Universe from Andrew Garfield. I really liked both. I would say I liked Amazing Spider-Man 1 more than Spider-Man 2. It is pretty serious. Like, this movie tries to take itself way too seriously for being the one that should be the cool Spider-Man. That was a bit off, but I still liked it. And now, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, another controversial one. But I think I liked it even more than Spider-Man 3. It is my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. I think this is like the most complete movie in terms of lore amount, in terms of character development, I would say even. The canon event that happens here, I was spoiled because of No Way Home, that it still hits some way. I didn't cry, it takes a lot to make me cry, but I don't know, I still felt like, no shit! The only thing, I also really liked Electro as a villain. Like, he wasn't the most evil guy, but he was doing some evil things because of being a dumbass, I think. And now, the Green Goblin here was kinda, I wouldn't say disappointing. Like, I feel they were saving most of the Green Goblin for The Amazing Spider-Man 3. But we never got The Amazing Spider-Man 3, so... that's a shame. I personally think The Amazing Spider-Man 3 is more necessary than Spider-Man 4. And now, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie was... I had way too many expectations with this movie, and I think it was cool. The animation is the best. It is the best animation I've seen in a movie, even better than in the sequel, I would say. But the whole story, I think it was pretty good, but not amazing. It never had a moment which hit hard, not even the canon event of Miles Morales. But, well, that's it. I'm sorry for putting this supposed masterpiece so relatively low, but this is my tier list, man. But now, the movie that I did really love, Spider-Verse 2, Across the Spider-Verse. And I'm gonna be honest, this movie, when I came out of the theater, I think this movie sequel is gonna be the best movie of all time. The sequel. Because this movie was amazing from start to finish. Maybe a little bit slow on the beginning, but that happens to a ton of movies and to a ton of games. I like RPGs. That's the genre where the beginnings are slow. But man, the it the story hit a lot harder. Uh, I don't know what else to say without repeating myself because I really not into not I'm not that capable of analyzing movie stories as much as I can analyze gameplay. But nah, the amazing not the amazing Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse might be one of my favorite movies of all time, even though it's not complete. That's the only thing that's keeping me from giving this the mind-blowing treatment. The movie's not complete. It ended like about 60% of the story it wanted to tell. And that's why the sequel is gonna be awesome. And now to the actual MCU. I am recording. Wait, I think the movie stopped. Let me add something. Let me add it a bit. No, 2 hours is too much. We need some variety here and there. Well, and first, well, I actually watched Thor first, Thor Love and Thunder, but Doctor Strange came first. I ordered it on order of release and order of universe. And the first Doctor Strange movie I watched after the Multiverse of Madness, which I watched last year, and I really liked it. Like, Multiverse of Madness is, I don't know, maybe somewhat above, like somewhat like Spider-Man 1, but Doctor Strange, the first one, is really good. It serves as a really good introduction to one of the best characters of the MCU, and it's a good story of its own. And it's a complete story as well. Like, it has kinda the Guardians of the Galaxy effects, which were its most concerned of being a Doctor Strange film rather than an MCU film. Even though Doctor Strange is one of the most important characters to the overall MCU, but details. I'm not the greatest expert on the MCU, sorry. After Love and Thunder, I don't know what to say about this movie. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm sorry, many of you are gonna hate me for this, but really, actually I think I enjoyed Spider-Verse 1 as a B tier, but I'm giving it a B plus because of objectiveness. But I really like Thor Love and Thunder. It's not the best, I admit that. It's a pretty how to say, palomitera, like a movie to just watch on the TV if you don't have anything to do and eat popcorn. If you do that, which I did with my dad, you'll enjoy it. I haven't watched the other Thor movies yet, so I can't compare with them, but I did watch Black Panther 1 on cinema, and I don't remember my opinion of it, but I think it was cool. But Wakanda Forever was really good as well, especially many people were worried because sadly the actor of Black Panther passed away, so this movie mandatorily it wasn't gonna have the character of its title, but it still made a really good story for it. I think it's one of the MCU movies that took itself the most seriously, and it didn't came out weird like it did sometimes with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I liked Wakanda Forever. Now, Quantum Mania, another controversial one. I'd say is objectively, Spider-Verse 1 should be here. But this is my opinion, damn it. And same for Thor and Love and Thunder. But I also think the special effects for this movie were heavily criticized, but I liked it. Maybe the character models were a bit weird, especially MODOK, which I think the only complaint I have with this movie is that they turned a character like Modok, who has to be a fearful menace, to a joke, to a pretty gross joke at that. But I don't know, I'm not even connected with the villain of Modok anyways. And I think this movie was heavily based on lore. The only thing I kinda complain about, I heard Kang is one of the most powerful villains of Marvel Universe, and they took him off pretty quickly on this. Although the post credits showcase there are many other Kangs, but I don't know if we are gonna see them soon. Now, for actually good movies that I did actually like, Guardians of the Galaxy. First, the Christmas special. Obviously, as a Christmas special, which is a little kinda filler, it's not gonna be a masterpiece. But this did have lot of care put into it. Okay, yeah. No, I'm not going to go against my own vision of things. I'm sorry guys, but I'm really keeping this below these supposedly better movies, because remember, this is a tier list based on how much I enjoyed the movies. And sorry, I enjoyed bad movies better than this good movie. But back to Guardians of the Galaxy. The Christmas special was funny as well. Maybe had I been more of a Guardians of the Galaxy fanatic, I would liked it even more. I think I was more focused on playing Pokemon Go rather than watching the special, but when I watched it, it was funny. And it was one of the most light-hearted things of the MCU. Naturally, because the guys are celebrating Christmas, not fighting against an evil god. So there's that. But now, the actual powerhouse of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Better than Pinocchio. Better than Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, in my opinion. It's... Man, this movie... I did watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I watched Volume 1 in preparation, but I didn't pay much attention to it, so... But still... Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a hell of a roller coaster. The only thing I would criticize that keeps me from saying it was a masterpiece, I think it needed even more action. Like, the action sequences of this movie were either short, were either undermined to focus more the internal struggles of the characters rather than being an actual power showcase. But man, this movie was amazing. It pretty much made Rocket one of the best characters of the MCU. And man, I think real fans of Marvel already knew that Rocket suffered a lot, but I didn't. Yeah. And pretty much Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, surely the best Marvel movie. Well, the second best Marvel movie of the last year. And well, these two movies actually came out last year, so there's that. I can say that with confidence. And now another movie that did actually release on 2023. Now, for DC, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched a single movie of DC. Not a Batman movie, not a Superman movie, not even the Wonder Woman movie. I think I watched Green Lantern on TV when I was younger, but I wouldn't remember it. And Flash, the realistic Flash movie was, I don't know, I liked it. It was filler most of the time. It was, I don't know, like Thor Love and Thunder and Quantum Mania. Objectively, it's like between these two. But the ending, man, the ending with something bad happens to the character of Flash and to the family of Flash. And at the very end, it has a scene that almost made me cry. Yes, I didn't war cry with the canon event of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I almost did with the Flash movie. What the fuck is wrong with me? And just that scene alone, I was considering putting this below as the worst of the almost masterpieces. But no, to be honest, I can't. To make an example with games, like I really don't like Persona 3 that much. I think Persona 3 has one of the best finales endings of all time in any history period, but the ending of Persona 3 lasts like 5 hours, 6 hours, when the whole game lasts other 80 hours, which honestly ain't much to brag about. That it kinda happens the same with the Flash movie, and it's worse because if at least you have time to sink in all the implications of the finale of Persona 3, this is Flash's best moment is a scene that lasts about 5 minutes, and the rest of the movie is a comedy. Pretty much a comedy. But this is my opinion. I'm gonna be placing this above The Strangers. And now a friend of mine was angry at me because how I liked the movie. Originally I did rank it at 9 out of 10 at S-, but a friend of mine told me if I like this movie, I was gonna like the animated version better, which would be the Flashpoint. I don't know why they removed the Flashpoint of the title in the Latin localization, and he was wrong! I don't know, man. I watched this movie without paying attention to the phone or anything, but I don't know, like everything that happened in the movie is pretty much almost the same that happens in the DC live action film, but I don't know, the way the dialogue of the characters was worked with, the way the animation, I don't know, in theory this is like an objectively superior version to this, but I don't know, I really didn't care about many of the things that were happening. I really don't know why, I don't know how to explain it, but I think it, like, the live action at least kept me engaged with this comedy, but the time paradox didn't take itself too seriously to the cinema point to say whoa, but also didn't take itself too lightly. I think I just took like one small laugh or two, and I don't know, I think one of the reasons might be the voice acting, the voice direction, because I think most of the characters are just like talking without that much emotion, and that's a problem that kinda happens with the next movie as well, which would be Justice League War, also animated. But I don't know, I somehow enjoyed the plot of War way more than the Flashpoint paradox, and the voice direction is the same, so there is something else that's keeping me from enjoying the Flashpoint paradox that much. I really don't know what this is. I might have to watch it again. It would be an interesting discussion. Why the fuck do I like an objectively badly made movie better than a really well crafted movie? And that's it for the DCU. This year I'm gonna try to watch the Batman movies. I actually began watching the Dark Knight trilogy now that the year started, but that's gonna be for the 2024 tier list a year later. And now Transformers movie, The Awakening of the Beasts. I watched this at the birthday of a friend of mine, the same one who told me that the Flashpoint paradox was better than the live action, and I think we enjoyed it more because it was his birthday. We were it was a pretty chill day, rather than for the movie being actually good. I would say, in theory, like, it should be better than Thor, Love and Thunder, or at least Quantum Mania. But god damn it, I put this above. Well, I think if I watch Spider-Verse 1 again, I'm gonna like it more than this one. I don't think my opinion of Quantum Mania, Thor, or even the Rise of the Beast is gonna change, but okay, so I'm giving it up. I'm placing Spider-Verse 1 above all of this. But again, Rise of the Beast. To talk about Rise of the Beasts, it was, I don't know. Again, it was like pretty good, not amazing, not even really good. But I don't know, it's an auto-conclusive movie. You don't need to watch much of the other Transformers movie. Actually, this should happen like before Transformers 4, which is the only other Transformers movie I've seen. I don't know. I'm not that big into Transformers, even though I should, because my dad loves Transformers. But for that, I'd rather watch the original series, or at least Transformers Prime, which is the 3D animation series that was on air when I watched Cartoon Network. Oh, and speaking of live actions of series that my dad loves, Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiacs. This movie was boring as fuck. I don't even remember the movie. I don't went wrong with this movie, because I began to watch the original Saint Seiya anime this year. I watched like about 10 to 15 chapters before watching the live action movies, and it has nothing to do with this. And to make matters worse, I watched it on streaming services on the house of my grandma, and we were more focused on talking between ourselves than on paying attention to what the movie was actually about. I listened more to my family than to the movie, which I think is the right thing to do morally. But still, that made me think like, what the fuck, what's happening with this movie? What? And also, out of all of the saints, out of the Knights of the Zodiacs, only 2 appear, which would be Seiya himself and how it was called, the Phoenix, Iki. They were some of the best, but still only 2 of them. And that's a shame, because my father is almost like Hyoga. Well, he was more like Hyoga in the past, but still my dad wasn't in his movie. Afterwards, Lords of the Rings, the first one. I also watched the 2 towers, but I didn't pay much attention to the movie, so I left it out of the ranking. And I gotta watch the 2 towers again. But the first one, I think, is good, but not better than, not worse, not much worse than Quantum Mania and Thor. So now, one thing I really like about the Fellowship of the Rings, which is the name of the first part, was the introduction sequence. I don't know, but when but the first like half an hour with the original Hobbit who found the ring, with Gandalf visiting the, how to say comarca in English? Well, the place where Frodo lived, and all of the stuff that happened in that, and before Frodo had to begin his journey. I really like that. Not only I really like that, I think it's like one of the most iconic intros, openings to a story, not only a movie, to a story I've seen. Only for that, I would crank it above just being good and say it's pretty good. But the rest of the movies, I don't know, like these other ones. And next, You know what's curious about these two? Not only that they both released the same day, but they released on my birthday! July 20th. I first... Sadly, because they were... how to say it? How to say estreno? God damn it, I should have word reference here at all times. I know how to say estreno. I've read the words many times before. I'm gonna hate myself when I remember it. God damn it. Premiere! That's it! Well, sadly, because these movies were premieres at my birthday, the birthday bonus wasn't on, so my father had to buy the 2 tickets to the movie, and I'm tempted to place it above because all of the implications of humanity and all kinds of this. I think the movie of Oppenheimer represents what critics think cinema actually is. And I somehow enjoyed it, even though I like more light-hearted stuff, more action style, and especially things that not make the humanity seem like we are doomed because of ourselves and all of the depression implication stuff. But I still really liked the Oppenheimer movie. But I liked Barbie even better. Well, but I wouldn't place Barbie at an almost masterpiece place, so I'm sorry. I don't know what. If you know the YouTuber called Chafrilas Productions, I think he has pretty much the same opinion I have on these two movies. Besides maybe having Barbie as his favorite movie of the last year. I wouldn't say that because of Guardians of the Galaxy, Pinocchio, and especially Spider-Verse 2. But nah, I like Barbie. I'm gonna use his words. The Barbie movie succeeded better at being the best Barbie movie it could be, over than Oppenheimer being the better the best possible documentary slash live action representation of the story of a man that it could have been. Some retro movies I watched with my dad. Thanks that I think I like these retro movies more than modern movies from the 80s, 70s, and first one is Enemy Mine. Really surprisingly wholesome movie, has some impressive effects for being I think 1995. It's from 1995. This movie saw the original Mario Brothers birth. Oh, and it's about a man who gets stranded in a planet, and he also gets stranded with an alien he was supposed to fight because of a war, but they end up cooperating between each other. I didn't watch the resume of the movie, so I didn't know what to expect, if they were actually gonna end up cooperating or they wouldn't, and well, they do. I don't think that's a big of a spoiler. And the relation of these two is wholesome. Like, this is pretty much the movie with the least amount of fleshed out characters, with only 2 or 3 really relevant characters to the plot. But these 3 men, for appearing only at a movie that didn't got any sequel, anything, they were really memorable, and they formed a really wholesome bond, and I don't know. Watch this movie with yourself. I think you could even watch this movie with your family. No, really wants a movie, special movie. I think I'm gonna rename this to yet. You don't have to be a mind-blowing masterpiece to be something special. And this movie proves it. And I thought I was gonna say the same about the never-ending story, but I don't think I do. I'm gonna place it above the war movie, but this is also a really impressive movie for its time. I think it's even older than Enemy Mine. And yes, it's even go! It also released on my birthday! I don't know what song to play now. Yeah, Persona 4 has one of the best chills of Ost to Shield. Oh well. Where did I place it? Oh yeah. This movie is exactly 20 years older than me. Exactly. And it was really cool. It also took me back to when I was little, like 4 years old, 5 years old. And it's magical, it's pretty magical. I'm tempted to give it an 8 out of 5 out of 10. And you know, I'm gonna do it. I don't think it has the most actually in-depth plot. It's pretty simple, but it's presented so well. I wouldn't call it a special movie even though it has everything to be a special movie, but I don't know, man. There is something that's keeping this movie from it. I wouldn't exactly know what would be. I think I'm gonna like this movie more on rewatch though. Well, I feel like I have more to say about the movie, but I don't know how to put it in words, so let's proceed. The Midnight Express. This is the heaviest movie. This is the darkest movie. This movie is darker than Persona 3, than, I don't know, a Shin Megami Tensei game. This movie, and the worst part is, this was based on real events. It's about a man who, because of dealing drugs in I think on the Asian continent, he gets arrested in one of the worst jails possible, and he has to. I don't know if the point of the movie is to showcase how he survives there, rather to how he suffers there. And I think you could go darker than this movie, but this movie still is really dark. It gave me with I don't know. When I finished watching the movie, I like got a bad feeling. I got demotivated for that day. I didn't cry, but like my motivation, my animo, how the fuck do I not know how to say animo? My spirit, my mood went down. So this movie is powerful especially for being a live action, no special effect, no cinematic scene. Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna place it above. Yeah, no. Doctor Strange 1, better than Spider-Man 3, but worse than The Midnight Express. This movie, like the never-ending story, has all the things to be a special movie. Again, this is a powerful movie that can change your actual mood, but I don't know, I liked The Amazing Spider-Man 2 better. Like, this is the rule. If I like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 better, you somehow ain't worthy of 9 out of 10. I'm sorry, I know for many people this movie actually deserves like a 4 out of 10, a 5 out of 10. But to me, it deserves the 8.5. Even 8.75, I would give it. And for the last movie of the 80s, Highlander. Was this one from the 80s or from the 90s? Highlander story. Yes. And this is another really good movie. Again, all of these 80 movies from the 80s, I really liked. I should be getting to watch more of them. Better than the Neverending Story? I would say so. Better than Oppenheimer even. It has a lot of action, it has some slightly moral stuff about the implications of being immortal, because the protagonist is immortal yet he can still die, but this is the point of the movie, there can only remain one more immortal. And it was cool. This is one of my dad's favorites. Not one of mine, but I really liked it. I appreciate this movie. And I don't know what else to say. It has lots of set pieces because the man is immortal, so we see like from the 14th, 15th, no, 16th century to the modern day. Well, modern day when it was the 80s. Well, and now some Disney movies. Why this is not from Disney, but I don't know. It almost counts. Yeah, the Hercules movie. I think this movie was kinda lot overhyped for me. Like, it's a funny movie, not the funniest, but it's good. I really expected Hercules to have a stronger development that he actually did. I'm sorry, I think the Hercules movie is kinda overrated. And on the other side, I think the Tarzan movie is underrated. I think someone placed the Tarzan movie as like one of the worst movies of the Disney Renaissance. Not only Chafrilas, many people. It's weird. On the English fandom of Disney, Tarzan is like one of the least talked about. It still has its fair share of fans, but I haven't seen them on the English fandom. But here, where I live in Chile, in Latin America, this movie is really dared by my family, by all my family members, the community. I listen. Ever since I was little, I've heard more about Tarzan than of Hercules. I'm running out of water and of voice. Let me wait for me for a bit. And I'm gonna change to a more special team because, well, you already saw this movie is special, but why? Why do I say that? Because, well, do you remember? I wasn't able to cry with with, like, for example, the canon event of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I almost cried with the last scene of Flash. I didn't cry with The Midnight Express or with Enemy Mine. I think with Fences I also almost cried, but I didn't. But Tarzan out of all movies was the movie to make me cry. And it wasn't on the climax, but it was almost of it. Like, I don't know, I was having a rough time with my family that day. Not actually a rough time, but like, this year, I used to live with my mom most of my life, but this year, it was the turn for my dad to have me. And the Tarzan movie has a scene where Tarzan with his monkey mother, she says a line that I watched this movie with my mom as well after she was missing me on when I went back for a weekend. I was also kinda stressed because I had to come back to my mom's city because of some voting stuff that was mandatory, but I wanted to stay with my father that weekend. But so I was more stressed out than normal. Maybe that allowed me for this one scene of Tarzan to broke me. Like, it was the perfect atmosphere. And well, the monkey mother to Tarzan, she said to his son that it doesn't matter where he is or who he actually is in blood. No matter where he is, she will always be his mom. And like, it was like, god damn it, this same thing is happening to me with my mom. I left my mom like over 600 kilometers of distance. That's how far apart my dad and my mom live. And man, it all came down for me, for that scene to hit not only me but my mom as well. Oh, no, only for that I placed this movie so high. For that and because of the soundtrack. I hate Chafrilas for this opinion. He says the Hercules soundtrack is way better than the Tarzan movie. I have the reverse opinion. Why? Because Chafrilas productions like when the own character sings the song when it's almost like a musical. Me, who I am a really big music appreciator, after making this tier list, I'm gonna make a tier list based on the soundtrack. But I really don't like how the musical aspect was that much, because most of the time on musical movies, most of the songs are like kinda filler. You are gonna realize that with the next movie, or just supposed to be fun and representing what the characters are doing and not much else. And the Hercules songs are fun, but they are not magical, they are not special, sentimental. I wouldn't say these Hercules songs are actually epic, despite Hercules being the song of a god. He deserved an Octopath Traveler like song, Hercules. But Tarzan, instead, he doesn't actually sing, and he wouldn't be able to because he doesn't know a human language. He might be able to sing in monkey, but speaking of monkey, here is Donkey Kong calling me. But so Phil Collins is the writer of the song of Tarzan and the composer, and the bastard. Well, no, not bastard. Phil Collins is great. Well, there is a YouTuber called Camilo Reviews who has a hate relationship with that singer, but I don't. I really like Phil Collins, and I love Phil Collins' songs. I don't care if people say the immersion is better when the actual characters sing the songs and not when a voice enough who has nothing to do with the plot actually sings the song for the characters. In my opinion, it's reverse. I really think Phil Collins did an excellent job conveying what Tarzan was feeling during those moments. And also Phil Collins went the extra mile and sang the songs in pretty much all of the languages of the movie. I think he even sang in Japanese, although the downloads of the Japanese soundtracks are pretty much impossible to find. I tried it, but he sang in Spanish, in a weird Spanish because he doesn't natively speak the language. But still, the songs in Spanish from Phil Collins are still as good as the English versions. No man, Tarzan. I'm still gonna place Guardians of the Galaxy above because Tarzan is a simple movie. It shares some problems with Hercules, but it has way more stronger scenes than it. When Tarzan is good, it can make you cry, especially if you love your family. And now for a movie that's it's Frozen 2 is the most existent movie of all time. I can see the value of some scenes of Avatar 2. I can see how the live action of Saint Seiya fails at a ton, fails a lot, but after watching Frozen 2 I couldn't pinpoint anything. I think I can review the movie. I think I can speak of some scenes of it, like at the end, which is just, as Chafrilas production says, it's pretty much an anti-climax. But the rest of the movie is just damn fun for the kids. It doesn't have any highlight. At least the first Frozen movie had some high points. And this movie doesn't have low points, but it also doesn't have high points. It's a movie that simply exists. And my little cousin likes Frozen 2 more than 1. I don't know how can I change her mind, but well, I'm the one who thinks the live action of Flash is better than the Flashpoint Paradox animated, so and no one can change my mind about that. So I just should allow my little cousin to like Frozen 2 more than 1. If I have worse opinion than this, believe me. Especially an opinion on this, but well, it will come later. Now, Elemental, or elementos in Spanish, even though that would be elements, and elemental in Spanish and English is the exact same word. Oh man, this movie this movie had it rough, man. I think this movie had one of the worst marketing strategies it had. It made Pixar, I don't remember if it was Pixar or Disney who made the movie, but like, this movie was looking just like any other 3D movie from the last decade. And in the trailers, it also like pretty much blowed when it went on cinema. And I also don't think this movie is for cinema. But again, this movie was saved thanks to Disney Plus. Disney Plus is hurting Disney a lot, but it at least made this movie pretty enjoyable. It's a better setting to just watch it with the family on TV rather than on the big cinema, because this movie ain't pretentious at all. And that's cool, because it doesn't try to be the ultra masterpiece it wouldn't be, and it just focuses on developing a good heterosexual relationship. Many people hate heterosexual relationships in movies, I don't know why. Maybe because they are a bit overdue, but like, if the thing about equality is putting like gay people and lesbian people and bi people and all the people who love on the same spot and with the same right as we. I don't want to say normal, because to be honest, all of those people are normal already. They always are. This is a matter of taste, anyways. But the point is, yeah, what I'm trying to say, this movie is not bad because a woman loves a man or a man loves a guy. A woman. Anyone who thinks like that is pretty much like doing what they fear they do to them. But well, and the relationships, I think it could have been developed a bit better, but it was good. It wasn't bad. It was a bit forced, but not that much, but not that forced. And the water guy, I thought he was gonna be like pretty dumb, but he wasn't. He was more competent than I thought. And the ending, oh man, the end of the movie, I knew what was gonna to happen because I've seen a ton of these movies, but my family members didn't. And while they were suffering because, oh no, he didn't come back, I was like, do I tell them or don't I tell them? But even then, I think this was, well, it was a fourth spoiler. The water guy almost dies, but he didn't. But he looked like he was gonna die, and my little cousin thought he was gonna die. My aunt, who also watched a tons of movies, thought he was gonna die. My mom was also. I don't think anyone cried, but they almost did. And I was further from crying with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 than with this. No, al revés, stop that. I think The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was closer to make me cry than Elemental, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 only like made me feel bad, and Elemental did that as well, because I already knew the guy was gonna leave, not because of spoilers, but because it's Disney, damn it. But still I felt good when he revived, and everything came down in the end. One person once said, I don't remember who, that any child could watch pretty much any movie, no matter how dark it is, as long as it has a happy ending. And I think I can agree with that. Well, I'm not a child, so I wouldn't be able to confirm it by myself, and putting like a child to watch something like The Midnight Express, yes, and saying he wouldn't be traumatized just because the guy managed to escape the jail, that would be too much. That would be a pretty bad idea. But I think it's true, that statement. And this movie proves it. Elemental somehow. Like the last 3D animated movie, well, there is this other movie, but this is another category. Spies in Disguise. Espías en escondidas. I was surprised when Staphyllas said this movie was better than the whole Ace Age pentalogy. No, heptalogy. And after watching it, god damn it, I agree! This movie is fun. It has its fair share of special moments. The villain was kinda forced, but at least it was a force. It was, at least the villain wasn't just there. And well, now that we are with a movie about the spies, I think the song is fitting. Yeah, and well, the movie is fun. It has its fair share of more serious moments. And one thing I liked is about the ending. Normally in movies where it seems like a realistic world, but there is magic thrown in there, normally in these kinds of movies, that kind of magic disappears. And sometimes even the objective is making that magic disappear. Like, for example, in Devil Survivor, one of the roads involves getting rid of all the demons. And I liked how that didn't happen in this movie. The guy, instead of finally being happy of getting rid of the power he got on the movie, which he actually didn't like, he actually mastered it on the post credits, and it was so cool, man. I think I enjoyed it more than Spider-Man 2, but objectively it isn't. And anime movies, I'm gonna say this is my jam actually, but Akira! And people are gonna hate me. I remember when I said there is something that kinda bores me about the Flashpoint paradox? With Akira, the same happens. Even though in theory all of the stuff that happens is interesting and dark, I don't know, the movie doesn't make me feel like at all. I just kinda appreciate how Akira is one of the first stories about reviving an evil god who ends up being the final boss, which is an idea and concept I really love, but I think it's not executed that epically here. And all of the rest of the movie is about a gang, about dystopian, about a dystopy. But again, I didn't feel much with the movie. I'm gonna place it about Frozen 2. And again, objectively, this movie is better than all of those. At least all of those. But again, I enjoyed it so little. I enjoyed it even less than Avatar 2. I would say I even enjoyed it less than Frozen 2. Even though Frozen 2 is the movie that... I don't know. Frozen 2 made me not feel totally bored somehow, but... Sorry guys, Akira bored me. And the Flashpoint Paradox kinda did, but... Not in... It's weird. Why do I place the Flashpoint Paradox so high and the Akira movie so low when I enjoyed these both movies pretty much on the same level because of the same reasons? I like making this tier list. These things makes me think about myself, about my own psyche. Like, I feel this is wrong. I feel placing the Flashpoint Paradox here is wrong. But I do feel placing Akira here is... No, now that I think of it, this is a movie that exists. It should be with Frozen 2, another movie that just exists. Now, movies that do way more than existing. I'm not a Slam Dunk fan. I went to this movie without having watched a single episode. I just know the premise of the Sakaguchi guy wanting to get into basketball to impress a girl, and he ends up loving the sport itself. And I liked it more than Highlander. And this movie keeps you on your toes, and it's not about Sakaguchi, the protagonist of the anime. It's weird, I feel I pinpointed many things normally only a fan would realize. Maybe because I'm just that expert on being an otaku. But... And this movie was really good, it was really high quality. I wouldn't say special, I wouldn't say almost masterpiece. Maybe a fan would say so. But even then, if you can enjoy a movie made for fans a lot, even if you are not a fan, it means it is a really good movie, an excellent movie. Also, the soundtrack is really cool, really amazing, really epic. It's not a very sentimental soundtrack. Like Tarzan is more sentimental of a soundtrack. This movie is like pure action, pure adrenaline, especially the main team, Dai Zero Kan. It's pure adrenaline. I love them. And now my jam, Digimon. This is the one movie I watched with, goddammit, I watched with Japanese dub. I'm not watching anything Digimon related on English dub. If there is a reason why I hate English dubs, it's because they treat Digimon so badly. And I had the Latin dub option, but I don't know, I went to watch this movie with a friend of mine who studied with me at a Japanese school, so I don't know, I didn't complain. I'm eventually gonna watch the Latin dub Sunday. And the Japanese voices were cool as well. And man, I'm kinda biased because I love Digimon. Digimon is one of my favorite franchises. And it's no better than Oppenheimer, honestly. And I was worried with the Digimon Adventure 02 movie because of spoilers and the context of how the Adventure sub-universe, Digimon has a lot of universe, this movie is from the Adventure universe. Well, lately the Adventure universe has been treated pretty badly, and most of the products it has have been bad. Like Digimon Adventure 3, Digimon Adventure 2020 is not even of the original universe, and the movie of Adventure 01 was pretty good objectively, it didn't mess a lot, but according to spoilers, this movie goes against what Digimon Adventure actually represents. Wait for me a bit. Sorry for that, my mom gave me some protein. I love you, mom. And where was I? Ah, yes, the Digimon Adventure 02 movie goes against what Digimon Adventure 01 and to an extent the Kizuna movie, which was the movie that came right before this one, represents. It pretty much destroys what the meaning of all of that and generating and while also making lots of story inconsistencies, and it's supposed to represent how the Digimon universe, how the Digimon Adventure universe began, and the way on how it began pretty much makes a lot of plot holes, especially with Digimon Adventure 3, but everyone wants to forget about Digimon Adventure 3. I don't want to, I like some songs of Digimon Adventure 3, but the plot itself... Well, but even if Digimon Adventure 3 didn't exist, which it doesn't, hopefully, this movie still has a lot of plot holes, which I didn't focus on them when I was watching the movie. Well, I was actively searching for them, and I didn't find them, and I don't know how, and I really like the movie, of course. Maybe because of my bias. And then I watched a video explaining why this movie ruins so much of the Adventure universe, and I was like, how the fuck don't I realize these things? And this is not the worst time this kind of stuff has happened. Look, I am those Dragon Ball Super fans that don't see the plot holes it makes with Dragon Ball Z. Maybe because of that I also didn't see the plot holes this movie made, but well, thinking of it as a standalone movie is where the first half, the first hour is pretty much pure talking about this new character. The movie focused pretty much on the new characters, so it actually could have been an Adventure 1 movie, a Tamers movie, pretty much a movie with any other character cast, and that's a bit of a shame. Especially since I liked the original cast of 02 quite a bit. But well, that's a detail in my book. Seeing the cast of 02 again could have been nicer if they had more things to do themselves, because they pretty much are cleaning up this conflict of the new characters. And again, the first hours is basically discovering him, meeting him, and explaining his backstory and why there is the new menace. And the last half an hour, then they gotta fight the new menace, and there the movie becomes just style over substance done right. It pretty much goes directly to the final battle, and there the animation, the presupuesto, the budget, pretty sure the budget of this movie went into the animation, because it's so pretty, it's so well done. It combines 3D CG for the scenarios with 2D for the animation. It remakes the Digimon Evolution animations in actual modern 3D, and it looks really cool. It's pretty much fan service for the style of 02. Not for the story, for the style. And I really like lots of things of 02 already, even though it's one of the most criticized Digimon seasons. Especially the new remixes of the soundtrack. I think I like. They did something really cool, which is they used the original voice of Wada Koji for the remix of the opening, which is amazing and beautiful because Wada Koji has passed away. He passed away, I think, on 2015-16, and he is the main singer of the Digimon openings, or he was. And I don't know, to see them instead of contracting anyone else to sing the new remix of the song using his original voice, it's like an honor. His memory is being still reminded, even though we have been without him for so many years now. It's pretty much how I'd like to die. I don't know, he receives, Wada Koji has received the honor of being immortalized in what he loved the most, which was writing songs. The only complaint I have about the soundtrack is that because there were no Armor Digivolutions, the Armor Digivolution song was not remixed, not even the original song was put in, which is called Break Up, and that's a shame because Break Up is one of my favorite Digimon songs ever. I like Beat Hit even more, but Break Up is... I also have Break Up deep in my heart. I really want a remix in this movie style of Break Up, but sadly that won't happen. But that's the only complaint I have, man. I feel I should dedicate a video to this movie. And now, another legendary movie, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It was good. I think that it succeeded really well. Many people say it's a bad FNAF movie, and no, it's a good FNAF movie and a bad movie on its own. I say the opposite. Wait, my computer is dying. Let me charge it. Now there it is. And I don't know, the FNAF movie I think is pretty... No, sorry for that. It's a good story on its own, but the way, the changes it did to the FNAF, to how FNAF works, some I liked. Like how the animatronics weren't that evil and how that could have went wrong. In fact, many people dislike how the animatronics weren't that evil or that menacing, but I gave it a pass because they showcased that pretty early on the movie. And what I really don't like about this movie is how it took a legendary scene from FNAF 3, but this movie is for FNAF 1. I really think that should have been saved for the next movies, which are inevitable. The actors already signed the contract, but I don't know, the movie wasn't disappointing. I think this is a movie to watch on TV, and I watched it on cinema with my friends, and that was really cool. I really hoped it would make a bigger impact, at least on the... No, I think this movie did make a big impact on the cinema gaming adaptation community, so no complaints there. Yeah, And the protagonist, they fleshed out the protagonist so much on this one. That was cool. And it would be fitting to talk about the other gaming legendary movie that came out this year right now, but I would like to stick to the order. Now, the last movie I watched with my dad this year was Creed 3, but the penultimate one was The Fourth Musketeer, D'Artagnan. Not much to say. I'm tempted to give it an excellent rating, and you know, I'm gonna do it. I don't have much to say. There was a section where I and my dad were, instead of paying attention to the movie, like spent playing Pokemon Go, changing Pokemons for like half an hour. That made me miss some part of the movies. But what I watched, I think I watched enough to say the movie, to stick out with the opinion of the movie I have. And I don't know how to put it in words, without repeating myself. I don't know, about the same of Highlander. Yeah, pretty much the same I think of Highlander. Even though this is a radically different movie that was made years afterwards. When was? When was? This movie was released this last year. Oh, it's on 2023. So this movie was new. And apparently they are already preparing the sequel and the threequel. It's seemingly it's gonna be a trilogy. The Fourth Musketeer. Well, it might not be this one. Let me check. Yes. I don't know. I can check that later. Well, but I'm gonna watch the second part this year. And now, the Creed movies. I'm a die-hard Rocky fan. I watched the Rocky movies on pandemic, and Rocky pretty much became one of my favorite movie series. And Creed is basically the sequel series is like it's weird. It's weird the relationship the Creed movies and the Rocky movies have. Well, not actually. In canon, they are sequels, there's no doubt about that, but they are their own series. It's kinda like what happens between each Persona game, except the characters of the previous games do appear on these new movies. Well, the characters of the previous game appearing on the new movies. Like, on Persona, the characters of Persona 4 only appear on Persona 5 as an extra DLC that might not even be canon. But on Creed 1 and 2, Rocky is a pretty important figure. In fact, the villain of Creed 2 is the son of the villain of Creed 1. I think I liked Creed 1 more than 2, but Creed 2 was still a good movie, really good. Better than Wakanda Forever? Yeah, maybe better than Space in Skies. Yeah. See. Better than Elementals, I'm not sure. Better than the FNAF movie. I wouldn't say Creed 2 is one of my favorite movies of the Creed and Rocky series. But now, and the last movie I watched on last year, Creed 3. Man, I don't know why Rocky 3 is my favorite Rocky movie. And I was in fear. I was having too high expectations for Creed 3, and it was the first time I was watching a Rocky movie on release date. Well, I actually didn't. I missed the cinema tickets, and then I just watched Creed 3 last month. But man, the movie didn't disappoint! The only deal is, remember what happened with Saint Seiya? We were talking a lot on between my family instead of paying much attention to the movie. With Creed 3, the same happened at the beginning. I only realized the daughter of Adonis Creed has having trouble on school because she was pretty violent, normal for a boxer, and I think I missed some context of the background villain, but a family member who had seen the movie before explained the context to me, and I think I have to watch the later half when I began to pay attention to the movie when Creed went to confront the main villain of the movie about halfway through on a carrete, le decimos en Chile. We call them carretes in Chile, but and afterwards, me, my dad, my grandpa, and a cousin of mine, we were glued to the screen, and this movie really hit. I also think this Creed 3 has the best final confrontation of all Rocky movies in terms of, I wouldn't say in terms of psychological character development drama, because I'm not able to rank that stuff on a psychological level because I'm not much of a psychological and deep person, but in terms of style, it is. And it also, I also really like how they used green lights for that section of the movie, and it is more to represent Mexico, but I have a weird thing. I think the number 3 should be green in every single time. I connect colors with numbers, and I hate Persona because to me Persona 4, for example, is a yellow game, but I think the number 4 should be blue. And again, Persona 3 is the blue game, but I think green should be the color for the number 3 game. And thankfully, Persona 3 kinda mitigates that because while the UI is blue on day, it becomes green at night. And that's it. Creed used green lights. Creed 3 used green lights for the final battle. I think if I had paid attention to the first half of the movie, this would have been contender for my favorite Rocky movie, no doubt. But without having watched that first half, I can't truly pinpoint it yet. I'm gonna have to rewatch that, at least that section. And now, finally, it's time for ThoMario to rank Mario! This is the movie of all time! And, goddammit, and that's what I would like to say, but no, to be honest, the Mario movie is good. It's pretty good. For being Mario, it's really good. For being a good adaptation of Mario on the cinema, is excellent. For being a pretty polished movie, is almost a masterpiece and a special movie, but honestly, objectively, this is the greatest bias ever. This is the greatest bias ever. Even my brain says, my heart says as well, this movie ain't that good. But if this movie is an 8 out of 10, it's barely one. But it's beyond, but it's at least a 7 out of 10. It's a really funny movie. It's not deep at all. The characters don't have true development. They invited us with Mario being depressed at the beginning, but they don't do anything with it. And it has a pretty bad message about contenting your parents by doing something great rather than pursuing your dreams. But I don't know, I didn't realize that because I don't really think about the psyche of mankind. Why do I play Persona if that's the case? Well, this is the greatest bias. This is the greatest bias. But the Mario movie was good. The Mario movie was good. No one, only people who don't like comedies can say it's not good. This, God damn it, but this movie is special, this movie is important, this movie was revolutionary despite not being a mind-blowing masterpiece. Oh, god damn it. I have... Where is Mario? I have Mario here. Mario, what? Mario, tell me, what do I do? What do I do with your movie? What do I do with your movie, Mario? What do I do? Do I stay true to myself? Or do I stay true to myself? I just realized that! In my true self, I think this movie is special. But my true self also says this movie is not anything to write home about. Like, I don't know, and I think both perspectives are right. If we are gonna judge the importance of the Mario movie, it deserves to be in these spots. But if we think about the Mario movie as what it is, a movie, a good comedy movie, that's it. I'm sorry. Anyways, there's gonna be a second Mario movie, there is gonna be a Zelda movie, and it's gonna be live action. Oh, that thing, it's gonna blow. The only way the Zelda movie would have been kinda good would have been with Studio Ghibli. So, no, why do people lose their time with Zelda instead of the series, which does everything right when Zelda does everything wrong? But, anyways, this is not the last straw for Mario here. Of course, I only played 2 Mario games last year. Well, there was a year where I played only 1 or not. But to still remain with animation, I think this is the turning point of the video. God damn it, I wasn't streaming! God damn it, I forgot to stream. I recorded, but I don't know when I forgot to stream, but it doesn't matter. At least I can re-upload this. Well, so we are done with the movies. Well, kinda. There are 2 movies left remaining, but before that we gotta watch this animation. Gonna turn the turning point for the video right now.